Hey Mark, how you doing? We have some people today connecting. It's really nice how everyone is doing. There's two marks, or is the same mark? Two marks. Let's wait a couple minutes for some people to connect, so we can get this started. I have a couple nice things set up. You guys hear me okay? I'm hiding right now a microphone, so I hope audio is a bit better than before. Also, we have a new camera for my face. We have a laser camera too. That in there, you will see the camera is here, and this thing is actually the little M4. Awesome, thank you, thank you. We have an interesting kind of a tutorial set up tonight. So we're gonna look into Devil1 and also a little bit of LightBurn, how to configure everything. Um, and it's going to be mostly with the autofocus. So as you guys know, we have this awesome tool that simplify the work so much. So this is actually one of the first builds, the one that I have in my hands. This is the second or the third one on prototype. Uh, Works just like the first one and the second one and the third one and so on. And I have one of the latest versions installed in the laser right now. And we're gonna talk about the sensor, what is the best placement for your sensor as well. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk how you set up this, and then I have a couple of materials here that we're gonna be trying and testing, and we're gonna do some engraving. I have everything prepared with multi-camera, so we can jump to the camera and the laser. We can jump into LightBurn, so we are going to be able to have a bit of a discussion of, let's call it, techniques of what we can do and how we can do it. All right. So please shoot all your questions. If you want to know something specific, put it on the chat. Don't forget to subscribe. That actually helps us a lot to keep doing more and more videos. It will be awesome if you guys subscribe, and also you get the alerts. We're gonna do really soon a giveaway, and we're gonna put a couple stuff. We just get some merch. I'm not wearing one of our t-shirts. We just start making t-shirts, and I'm not wearing one. Right? But I promise the next time I'm going out with a t-shirt, one of our official t-shirts. And there's two more designs they're coming. Hey Oscar, how you doing, man? Good to see you, my man. You guys don't realize much, but there is always like a little bit of a lag between what I'm doing and what actually happens in the video. like. So glad to hear, Oscar. Glad to hear. Let's make some nice. Let's open this thing. So this is some of the materials that we're gonna use today. I'm not going to really cut much because actually at all because I have. It is not food. My dog is like, "Are you opening a treat?" No, it's not. Because it's gonna smoke a lot, and I don't have the enclosure set up. I've been assembling and disassembling, taking apart the laser and putting it together and taking it apart. So the enclosure was kind of in the middle. It's in the closet, that door right there. So I'm gonna be mostly engraving, but I will explain a little bit more of the process for making a deeper cuts, if that makes sense, with the autofocus. So the autofocus use this little guy. Let's get into it. Use this little guy. And this is basically a mark. This is basically a micro limit switch, a mechanical limit switch with an actuator at the end, right? So when this touch the material, tells Devil1 that it reached at a specific height or place, and it's time to go according to our macro that we're gonna learn how to do it. Tells the machine to go back X amount of, in this case, millimeters steps. Now, it's important to know a couple things. LightBurn, for whatever reason, I found that it has a little bit of a bug. So if you are using inches per minute or inches per second, inches overall, it won't really work well. It kind of goes all over the place, even if you're using fractions for the distances. So I think it's something just in how it's working on the macro part with the machine itself. Not sure why. I've been trying to figure that out, but personally, I like to work with millimeters per second. If you are using millimeters per minute, remember 1 minute 60 seconds. So just do the math, divide or multiply, so you will find the same values that I'm talking about. So basically what we're gonna learn is, let me grab these two modules here. Let's grab this guy and let's grab this other guy. So I have here the infrared. So the autofocus on the infrared is being amazing. And I removed the cover because I want to show you. It's literally a micro. See here, it's really a micro limit that works with the actuator. So one of the things that I use most is being the autofocus with the infrared. The reason of it is because the infrared is one of those laser modules that is really hard to get it in focus and get it in focus right all the time. So you gotta play with it. You don't have a Z-axis like the ones that we make, on the top. You just turn the knob. We don't have a Z-axis. It's really hard to get it in place. But if you have the autofocus, once you set the right place when this go back up to get into the focus or focal point, you're always going to have the best focus you need. So for the infrared is amazing. Another advantage on the infrared is we don't need an air assist. We don't need a shield here, or we don't have a shield. Therefore, you can put basically the sensor almost all the way to where the base of your lens is. That gives you a lot of room to play with it. So basically, you have the entire half of the little foot for the focus section. And that's great. It creates a lot of clearance so you can move around. So let's talk about these modules. So this is a 10 watt Pro, and I wanna explain a little bit because I just received an email from one of our customers asking, "Oh, you don't have the guide, installation guide anymore." So I actually decided not to send it in the last version, and I'm working into a different one because it was designed to be on the side. It was designed to be in this part. So you put it on the side, in the corner, and it will help you to align it. But a lot of people is using currently the autofocus not only for flat surface, but also they're using it on the rotary. So here is the thing: when you use it on the rotary, you gotta remember that your laser is going to move left to right, and you have the chalk or anything here. So you have something that it might create a collision on the side. The sensor might not be great. It's not the best placement. So again, the installation guide, there was just a little piece of plastic in an L shape, was meant to be on the side, not on the front. So I remove it so that, don't create more confusion on how to install it or problems. And I just mentioned to the people when they reach out, well, should I put it? So again, front, if you're using rotary, so when you move left to right, it won't hit anything. Remember, you have a glass that glass is round, or the cup is round, so it will be still in the air. You won't affect absolutely nothing. If you put it on the side, it's best for flat surface. So that is really important to remember. And I'm actually going to add some extra instructions to make sure the people have everything they need out of the box. And I'm working into a different installation guide, so you can just snap it there and put it. It will say rotary or flat. Um, so how this is attached to your module? I use an industrial grade double side tape that is super low profile, and people can tell you if you ask in the groups, is not going anywhere once it's set. Now you can remove it, yes. Just grab it really firmly and twist. You twist, you can remove it. So this is installed here for a while. So I'm gonna grab it from the palm, and you can see that I'm picking up from the palm the whole thing, and there is no separation on the sensor, so it's there. If you wanna remove it, you just grab it and twist, and it will come out. Of course, you will need a different or replace that double side tape. It won't damage your module, it won't damage the limit switch. Just twist it and take it out. Now, this has a little bit of a connector here, and let me grab the cable I have here. So I'm not going to go through the whole installation in the machine because it's a really straightforward. It's just the cables that goes into Devil1. We talked about that before, and then you just plug everything in place. One is on the motor, and the other one goes to this. So ideally, you will get one sensor per module, and you will have a cable. We have cable for extended machines, 3 meters. So you will see this part, and your connector from this will go in like so. So when you change the module, you just press the lever here and pull this out. Don't pull the cables. Cables break. Use the plastic. That's why we have the whole plastic thing to grab it. Okay? So do yourself a favor. Cables will break if you start pulling from the cables. Grab it from the plastic, press down, and separate it. That's gonna be really good. It's gonna last forever. And same here, you have the stepper cable and the cable that goes into the Devil1. Both are labeled, and both are labeled Z. You will see here, one says C here, and the other one say again Z. Now remember, the on the instructions I mentioned this. This doesn't go to the Z limit. It's going. Let me put it down. It's going to the Z axis. Let me put a little bit lower this. Hope that's better. Too low. I hope the microphone there is better. It's not. The beer is probably getting into the microphone. Probably that's better. Yeah, it's the beers, yeah, between covering and all that. So I should get one of those, kind of a boom microphones. Here, it was louder, that's for sure. It's basically a wireless microphone system that is connected. So I can just do it like this. You guys hear me okay there? Better? I can just take it out. All right. So basically, what it is, with the limit switch is just don't pull the cables. Make sure that your cables are fine, and for most, make sure that you don't have nothing to collide. You have something that will collide, that means that your place of installation is not the greatest. Keep it in your beer. Thank you, Mark. I'll try to. I actually need to trim down a little bit because it's also getting annoying at night. But yes, I'll do that. Huh? Right? Yeah, Tess is back there. Say hi, Tess. So what we're gonna be doing right now is I have everything already set on the laser. So let's turn this into LightBurn and the laser view. Here we are, LightBurn. We all love LightBurn. So let's turn this camera. So right now I put a couple core coasters and I put the 4 because I want to start taking some out and we can see exactly what it is and how it goes. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna look into LightBurn first. So once we install everything, there's a couple things that we really want to try to make sure that we have and it's working. First of all, and really important, make sure that your laser is on and everything is connected. Okay, I make just a square here. I was playing, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing here. So I recommend not to home the laser in the beginning because you might need to tweak where your limit switch is. So just make sure that when you start the laser, it doesn't go and automatically home. Turn it off before you do that. All right. So one of the things that I like to do once I install everything and connect everything, the first thing is let's go first to the move console. And this part is really important. So please pay attention to this part. It's really, really important. So we have the Z-axis speed and we have the distance, right? I'm assuming that at this point everyone already installed the file, everyone have everything. So for installing the file, remember we go into our machine settings and we load the file and we select the Devil1 autofocus or the Devil1 autofocus for rotary, so remember you open machine settings. It's really interesting that this is not showing that, but let me see if I can really quick put this for you guys on the screen because I'm not showing the whole Windows. I'm showing the software to get it right. But I'll put that. I'll put that after on the comments. So you go to edit machine settings and just like you load your regular Devil1, load from file and you will load a new LBZ file that is provided on the website. This file was created by Kobe, and it's actually the best source to do the files with Devil1. He is the father of Devil1. So once we have that, what we're gonna do is we load the file and we're gonna go to the move panel. So this is the part where we start actually setting up our autofocus. The first thing is make sure that you have a slow speed. I like to use 50 to 100 millimeters per second. That's really important. You don't want to blaze everywhere, okay? The second part, this is a speed for Z axis, and the Z speed. And then a distance. I'm gonna make a small distance, maybe 5 millimeters, and I'm gonna use these arrows. So first, you have to do a little of a visual inspection on your laser. You want to make sure that when you hit the arrow up or down, whatever you prefer, you have enough travel to go with the distance that you are selecting. So if you are all the way down when you set it, you are going to hit, the arrow up. If you are all the way up, you want to hit the arrow down, and you want to make sure that goes in that direction first. So I'm really low right now, but I'm gonna set the arrow up. So I'm going into the right direction. It's going up. I'm gonna click down, and it's going into the right direction. Now, what happened if for any reason I'm not going into the right direction? Let's imagine that for whatever reason, I found a menu. I'm going to add this. I'm trying to add this screen really quick for you guys so you can see the other menus, because it's not showing me the menus for you. So what happened if you don't have your arrows working properly? You are hitting down and your computer show that it's going down. Sorry guys for all this weird tweaking. It's just because this is a huge monitor, so I'm trying to center for you guys. There we go. So if the arrows are not going into the right, hey Joey, if the arrows are not going to the right direction, what we're gonna do is as follow. Number one, we're gonna go to edit, and we're gonna go to device settings, and we're going to review what we have here. So number one, you should have enabled Z-axis. Number two, you need to check your reverse direction. It should be off. It should be. It can be on, but you don't want to reverse anything. And relative Z move only. This is actually really important based on how you are working, but it's really important. Basically means that every time we move our Z and it stops, reset the count, and is 0 again. So it will be a 0 every time we move. In that way, if we move all the way down, it will reset. It's 0 for the computer. The computer will assume that that is a 0, and that's really useful for us, and I'll explain that why. I don't need to optimize movement, so I don't need to go in fractions or anything like that. So once we have this set, I'm going to just click OK and review again my arrows. And yet again, let me inspect that visually. You always want to do a quick inspection to see where is your laser. If it's too high, it is too low. You can know where you go. You don't want to be colliding with, your movements. If for whatever reason still you have the problem that is inverted, you still hit up and this goes down and vice versa. So what we're going to do now is we're going to edit, machine settings, and we are going to open the output setup. Double click. It will give you a warning saying like, hey, you're about to break things, so just be careful. All right, I will. So we're going to look for all the setup. This is where your machine behaves in different ways. So we're going to look for the Z direction pin. So in this case, Z direction pin is the $3 if you are looking for it. and I turn it on off. It say false. That is the way that is working for me. Again, some machines, for whatever reason, and I still try to find what is the reason. I haven't found it. If someone knows that, please put it in your comments below or let me know, because I would love to know what's the difference. We all run into the same firmware, we all run into the same config file, but some machines, for whatever reason, this needs to be set as true. So this is where you are going to check what is going on with you. Okay, in my case, invert is off and the invert pin on the z-axis is also in false. So once I finish checking that and I check and change to whatever I need, remember, first you write it, right, and then okay. If you don't click right and you hit okay directly, it will ask you, hey, you're about to exit this window. You want to write these files into the memory of your Devil1. You will select yes, of course. So we have everything here. I recommend, once you have the setup in the configuration in the way you like it, I recommend to save a file, and this will create a secondary file just like the one you load before. So we're gonna hit OK here, and then you go again and test your z-axis movement. So once you did that, you should have your z-axis movement where up is up and down is down. So that will be the first part, and that is incredibly important. So you don't need to set your autofocus all the way down, install it, and then try to configure. Just want to make sure that you guys get that as a whole idea. Just put it there. Your laser can be center on the machine. You don't need to do nothing weird. It can be, let's say the module, it can be right in the center, and you have, you know, enough travel distance on the bottom and enough travel distance on the top to test your movement first. It won't affect if you have it too high or too low, but it's just to avoid collisions to the top or to the bottom. That's all. So with that being said, let's talk about this guy. So we have the clamp on the side, and this clamp works great for all the X tools, and we have a version for the Pro and a version for the non-Pro. Now, you might notice that I have a Pro machine there, and I have a non-Pro laser on it. That's a whole different video, I promise you. So, things to fix and things to do for maintenance in these guys. Number one is a mechanical part. So the screw part, you don't need to do much. Just make sure that when you're cutting too much and things like that, debris doesn't build up in the screw. You know, put in probably 1 or 2 drops of 3-in-1 oil will be fine. Same with the rods, because this is a movable part. You need this to be moving fine. Okay, when this is working, the motor usually locks, so you don't want the motor all loose. So just make sure that you don't have debris and nothing that it will grind into the screw, so they will move up and down. If you want to adjust it by hand for any reason, you can just adjust it by hand like any other z-axis, and this is really usually snug, so it will stay in place. It won't go down by movement just like that. You gotta push it down. All right, now let's do the macro. On the macros, I gotta do this screen again. Here we go. All right, so once we have this, we gotta build our macro. The macro goes in 2 lines. I like to put it just in 2 lines. You can put one text in each line if you want. You will just read down. But this is what I like to do on the macro. So I'm gonna right click. First of all, I'm using a 10 watt laser, so I'm gonna put in this case focus 10 watts. So here's the first part of the macro. The first part of the macro says G30 8.3. That's the basically the stepper on C, activate the stepper C, and I'm sending this minus 300. Again, this is a machine-based kind of thing. If you have everything in true instead false when you invert the pin, you will notice that the minus will send it up instead down. So just remove the minus, right? It's minus 300 or just 300. It's up to you. And F is the speed, how fast it will move up, or will move down. Then we have the G91, which is in this case the proof that we have a little problem that in G1 says when this touch, then G1 send to Z the value to go back because it's not minus. You will see this a positive value, 7.5. How I get into the 7.5? I'm gonna change this actually right now to 12. I'm gonna put 12 and 900. So I'm gonna hit OK here, and I'm gonna test this macro for you guys. So I want you to see the little camera here. I'm gonna actually make this just a tad bigger so you can see what is going on. All right, so I'm gonna hit macro here. No right click, just a regular click. I'm gonna hit it. It goes down, and it's going up X amount of numbers. So let me go here and show you. So what we have here is a specific distance clearance that happens. So you just need to put your little feet down, and you will see that there's still a lot of clearance. There is a lot of clearance to where my foot is. So I'm going to put the foot up again, and I'm going to change that value. Now I know that my laser went up way too much. Doesn't need to go up that much. So I'm gonna try with 10. I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna hit focus again. I changed my value to 10. I hit the focus again. I'm gonna check this foot. It still is too high. I'm gonna put it back. And remember, what we're changing here, what we're doing here, is changing the value on the macro. So this is the amount of how much my laser is going to back up once it hits the material. So I know it was 7.5, but just out of curiosity, I'm gonna go 8. Okay, now that number is in millimeters. All right, I'm gonna hit focus again. I'm gonna hit here focus. It back up a little bit less. I'm gonna put this down. Is there? Now I see that it's barely scratching the surface. Barely. I'm gonna put it up again. And like I said before, I'm going to put it back to my 7 point. I'm gonna put 7. We are now in 7 here. So I'm going to click focus. It went up a little bit. And I'm gonna put my little foot down again. And I don't know if you hear, but now it's touching this. And you will see that it's a little bit harder to move everything, right? So since it's cork, it kind of bent a little bit here and there. So I'm gonna put back my 7.5 millimeters. 7.5 millimeters. Okay, so my feet is up, and I'm gonna click focus again, and there it is. So for me, that's my ideal focus. This is a little bit of a try and error. My pleasure, Christine. Thank you for coming into these weird lives that I've been doing, trying to hang out with people, and at the same time working on it. So now that I have my focus in place, I know the distance, I know how everything goes. So one of the awesome things on Devil1 is that we can just go ahead and say home, and our Devil1 will go home, right? So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna grab a couple of these ones out. I'm gonna leave only one in there. There is one. I'm gonna use one to measure. I'm gonna do my stuff. So I believe these, let's grab my caliper. So I believe these are round, and let's see how much. 90, I have here 98. I have a 98 radius circle. So I'm gonna do this. I'm going to draw a circle. All right, I'm gonna log this, and I'm gonna say, guys, 98 millimeters. All right. So now I have this. I don't know how many of you guys use this little thing, move selection to. Does anyone use this? This is something that I like to use a lot. It's kind of a trick in some cases for me to place my materials and my stuff on my laser. So I want to show you what I do with this. So currently my laser is up here, right on the top right. All right, you're gonna love this, Oscar. You're gonna love this. So my laser is in the top right. Okay, that's my 0 for me. So this is in some place on my honeycomb right now. Assuming that you have your honeycomb and everything set up. I don't even have my honeycomb right now with my own alignments. They're sitting on the box on top because, again, taking my laser apart. So I wanted to show you this. I'm gonna put a little camera there. So if you know where your area is based on your honeycomb and stuff like that, you can create a circle that represents your material. And with this, you can say, for example, move the laser to the upper left corner of your selection. So that will be this corner here. Okay, so that is actually pretty interesting. So knowing that that's my corner, I'm going to try to right now just align this in place. Okay, so we have that in there. So if you want to go to the middle, let's imagine that you are trying to find your middle in this. So you can just select this, go to a selection center, and it will move to a selection center. You can go to the move console. I'm gonna fire my laser. First of all, I want to show you guys this. This is something that I got for testing me. So there's all kind of glasses and goggles and everything. For whatever reason, I decided to get something certified. So we got these nice, awesome goggles, and these are actually glass. So let's put it on. All right, I'm ready for a bike ride. That's awesome. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna fire my laser. Let's go to the next stage. And I'm seeing a little blue dot. So I'm gonna put that in what I think, and I believe, just really quick, is my center. I think that's pretty center for me. So I'm not trying right now to explain center the materials. We are looking into focus into the place. So we know where we are right now. We are in the center of our laser, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move a distance of 10 or something similar, and I'm gonna move left. Probably 10 was too little. I wanna say 30 more. So I'm moving left a total of 40. So you see where your prof or your prof is for the material, right? So I'm gonna just click focus because remember we removed 2. So I'm gonna focus. There it is. I focus on my material. So knowing that I move 40, I'll put 40 here and I move 40 back. There you go. I'm still in the middle. So it's kind of a control scenario. You want to know what you're doing. Now, keep in mind, I'm not grabbing the laser and moving it around. I'm doing everything straight on LightBurn. So, as a request, Tess asked me to do one of the clusters that we usually do. So, I have so many clusters, so I don't want to save this file. Let's do one of these coasters really quick, and I don't even know my settings exactly, but let's see. So again, we know that this is a 98 times 98 circle. So I'm going to pretend that this is the area that I'm going to be working. To my selected, I'm selecting the circle right now. Then move to the center. There we go. And I know that I'm off the center. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to fire the laser. Fire the laser. The laser. There you go. Close enough to the center for what I need right now. So I'm going to remove now this. Let's see how my layers are. Speed 160, power 50. Super easy, super simple. Remember always frame twice, cut one. So we're gonna hit frame here. Seems pretty good for me. And this is actually really smoky because it's a nice material, but let's try to put this there. Let's turn this on and this other fan on. All right, I just shoveled one of my fans and we're gonna start the laser. So yeah, actually the circle frame is nice. Sometimes I kind of hate, Mark, the faceted circle. It's like angles that goes up and down. Sometimes it's annoying for me. Sometimes it's fine, you know. But in reality, it's just I don't even have the laser in my face here. In reality, it's just a matter of what is more comfortable for you. I still smell the burning. Let's take a look. Well, yeah, it's coming nice. Now, these are those coasters that I really like because they came super dark and it's not super deep, so it's not like a carving on the coaster, but it's nice and clean and engraved. Let's take a look how it's going. So as you can see, the autofocus actually helps to create a different scenarios. Create just different scenarios. You are going to be able to do everything on your computer. If you're working with a computer, you don't have to be there. You have an enclosure and you have already everything set up inside the enclosure, and you don't want to go and focus for this part and focus for this other part. and you're gonna be doing different stuff. You don't want to be touching your laser and taking it out of focus because it happens. It's really easy. It's really easy with the autofocus to go to the place, move it around a couple times and up and down. Depends your workflow. If you have a better measurement, but right now my laser is almost completely took apart. I just put it together for the video. But if you have everything set in the way that you can always know what is your middle in your honeycomb and what is the middle of your screen, it's going to be super simple. So we're gonna do a couple stuff after this is done. I would like, guys, please shoot some questions. Tell me what you think. I would love to be able to answer some. Also, keep in mind that I'm not using right now the Air Assist. I have for engraving the Air Assist off because I don't want to have this little burn out of the lines. Do we have anyone that is being hesitating about the autofocus because a little bit of scare of I don't know how to set that up? Again, let me tell you, it's really simple to set. Sometimes things are confusing, of course. It's all new, but honestly, once you set this up, you're going to be the happiest person in the world because it takes so much work out of your hands. And if you have an enclosure that is bulky and heavy and different things like that because it's all built in wood, definitely for in my opinion is a must. You just throw your stuff in there and forget it. Could it be faster? Yes. I think I could just go ahead and jump on 200 speed maybe. So if anyone is doing these kind of coasters or things, I don't know, you guys notice sometimes they are different thickness. Like these two are not exactly the same. And this is one bag. This is the same bag. So this is one of the things that you want to, for example, have an autofocus. You just put two or three in place. If you have a top camera, I do have a camera there. You will notice that you can just go and focus in one. In the second outward, in a different layer, you can go to the other layer and lower 0.5. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then you can go ahead and stop and lower it in another layer and things like that. So you don't need to go and manually adjust the focus on each. You can put all four and you can adjust the focus based on where you're going. That is an advantage. That's usually a really good thing to do. Another thing that some people have been trying and experimenting in, it depends the use, is when you finish your job, the laser can actually raise an X amount. So in that way, you have everything clear to just be removed. You don't need to move the knob. That was one of the users that completely put everything in perspective of how to do it. Uh, I believe was Dick Brennan. I believe, not sure. Terrible with names. I remember my name because repetition. That's about it. But yeah. Oh, by the way, rotaries are coming. If you are interested on my take on how to modify the rotary to have something that is more useful than just the regular X tool, stay tuned. The rotaries are coming, and hopefully they are going to be one of those things that everyone wants to have at hand. Crazy dog with crazy lady dog, crazy dog lady. All right, I think you guys get an idea. You can see smoke on the camera, not too much though. So for those who are wonder why the camera looks orange, so it's kind of a cheap camera that I put there. It's not a GoPro. The one I'm using as a webcam is a GoPro. The one I have on the table is a GoPro. Um, but it's one of those cheap cameras that I got for testing, and I decided to put it there and sacrifice it. Since I'm gonna be cutting, and that camera is going to be inside the enclosure, most likely it's going to start getting all kind of things like gunk and stuff for cutting. Um, Next week I'm gonna make a tutorial on design in a cutting black acrylic, and we're gonna swap the cutting machine from the 10 watt or 20 watt, depending what going to use next week. We're gonna change that one and put the infrared to do some marking and do something nice over the earrings. So we're gonna do that next week. I'm gonna work on earrings for you guys so you can see something really easy, really clean. I know it's the same thing that Xtool did on their videos multiple times, multiple ways, but they never explain the design process and what you need to consider. We're gonna do it on acrylic. I will do it in wood. Everyone does it on wood already, so why not acrylic? So let's let's see, where is this? I think I forgot to change the optimization on this, and that is what it's doing right now. Is going for or letters or groups. Again, I do so many things on my machine and my laser that I sometimes just lose completely track of what was my last configuration. If I do a giveaway, what you guys would love to have on a giveaway? I mean, for sure it's gonna be a T-shirt, but what else? What else should we put on the giveaway? Oh, so by the way, you guys probably see that little guy there that is doing the suction, right? That's one of those super cheap activated charcoal things from Amazon. It was like 30 bucks, 40 bucks on Amazon. Uh, and I actually right now hook it to use with a little fiber that we have. So I have this little atom stack M4. They call fiber laser, but it's not. It's I don't think it's a fiber in any way because it doesn't have a single hair of optic fiber inside. It just mirrors. Works great. Don't get me wrong. For what it is, it's awesome. I did this knife last night. Put the logo on it, and is there. I actually took some time, and there is some probably almost half a millimeter or so deep. So can't complain. And also probably you noticed that I already did some 3D printing stuff on this machine as well. We'll talk about that machine in some other video. I have a video coming with Adster lasers. Some people say it's an Xtool killer. For me, it's just another Xtool. Let's see how this is going. All right, we are on 68%. I want this to finish so you can see exactly what is going on. So giveaway, I'm gonna do some giveaway, and it's going to be with all the people we have on YouTube. So if you are right now on the YouTube channel, you haven't subscribed so you are eligible for this giveaway. We are not only going to do a t-shirt, we are going to put some other goodies between honeycomb pins. They're super useful. I use them all the time. I really use more stuff that I made than stuff that I can probably just buy. And we're gonna do that. I'm juggling the idea of probably do a drag chain or something like that. The thing will be, if you already have a drag chain, what would you like to get from me? And just put it on your comments below. In that way, we can do a fair giveaway. The other option is a gift card. Probably $100 gift card to shop online. For us, definitely is going to be something really cool, really big. It's not going to be, here's your bag of candy. It's going to be a nice thing, and most important, it's going to be for YouTube subscribers only. All the giveaway that we're going to be doing, only YouTube subscribers. So if you have a friend that you think should be part of this giveaway, let him know. Subscribe. That goes a long way with us. Help us tremendously. It's gonna be by the end of the month. I'm gonna be doing the announcement next week. But yes, it's mostly what we're gonna be doing. Okay, this is going good. It's a really nice and really clean engraving. Now remember that we have two coasters, so in theory I can just grab the coaster that is right at the bottom, remove the top, and focus again and send my project again, and it's going to be in the same spot, different focus, and I didn't touch my machine at all. So that's something to keep in mind. Can this be done faster? Yes. I just did not change anything on the speed or anything in any other way. You usually go with 240 is a good speed. 200 millimeters per second is a good speed. That might be a bit faster. is almost done. Just 1.5 more letters, a little more than 1.5. What you guys think so far on the autofocus? You have an autofocus, Oscar. You say that it's awesome. Are you been using it a lot? Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Mark Bingham, how's the t-shirt, Mark? Mark and Oscar, for you guys that don't know, they were probably the first two buyers on the t-shirts. Like almost instant as we put the t-shirts online. Now, just want to make sure that you guys know the t-shirts are actually made by Tess. She does all the t-shirts and all the vinyl stuff and stickers and everything like that from us. She's the one responsible that I do the design and she just take care of the fine art part. I'm a little bit more rough on the edges, so I go with laser and guns. Motorcycles is my thing. All right, the crazy dog lady is almost done. I'm gonna just grab that for you guys. Well, she leave as soon as she got bored because I'm that bored. I'm boring, I guess. All right, this is done. Let's take this guy out. So you see here, I just slide this off. Now my laser went up once this is over. How that happened and why? Let me explain that to you. Let me show you how this came out. Here we go. So this is a nice, and it's not carved, but it's a nice and black and gray. There is basically nothing in there. All right, so let's talk about this part. Why my laser, when it finished, automatically went up? So two things to consider. Number one, you will notice that the laser didn't went back to home. So I personally like to, wherever it finishes, it stops. That's number one. Number two, erase when it finished. How? So this is what we're gonna check right now. So let's go back to this part. So we have this. Let me turn off the fan because it's driving me crazy. Boop, boop. All right. Now that I can hear what I'm thinking. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Oscar. So now that I can hear what I'm thinking, let's talk about what happened with the laser. The laser finished the job, and as you can actually see here, it went up. You will see the distance, right? Went up. So let me show you why and how. So when you go to edit, let's go to device settings. And what we see here is a tab that is called G-code. So I'm gonna open the tab, the G-code, and I want you to see this part. This is end G-code. That means that when a task finish, in this case a job finish, the machine is going to run this G-code. And what we're saying right now in this G-code is to run from wherever the G91 is creating the Z-axis as an absolute, so this is a new 0. G1C, we're telling the G1 to move the Z-axis 20 and at a speed of 1500. So this 20 is raising the laser just enough for me to be able to just grab my material, slide it out, and if I need to do another job, and if I need to do something different, right where it is, all I need to do, let me show you this really quick, is hit the focus button again, and my laser goes down to focus, and I'm ready to engrave that second part that was right beneath my first one. So it's just racing in place. That's what I like to stop in the same spot that I finish my job. So if I'm doing a batch order, customers say I need 20 coasters. I just put coasters to fit on my area. So I just go through my area and put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I put probably double, 2 levels. So I'm not putting 9, I'm putting 18 coasters maybe, right? So as soon as my coasters are finishing, I can just remove the top ones and then engrave the base ones without affecting the position of my machine. So that expedite definitely my production. So those are a little of the things that you can do. Another thing that you can do, and let's look into this screen now again. So let's see just here in LightBurn. So let's imagine that we have to cut, and we're gonna cut a deeper wood, right? Again, I'm not going to cut right now. I don't have the enclosure, and the fire alarm is right over me, so I don't want that. The smoke detector and everything is right here. I don't want it. So this is what we're gonna do. Oh, bro, you see that right there is everything. Everything is right there on top of me. So, nah, not a good idea. So this is what I want to show you. Here you go. Let's open this. Boing. So when you open a layer, remember double click on the layer to see the properties. When you open the layer, you have a couple things really interesting. Number one, you have a Z offset in millimeters and a Z step per pass. And again, is on millimeters. When you do a Z offset, is how many millimeters off the original focus is. So if you set, let's imagine that you are setting 2 materials, right? So you have this material here and this other material. Let's talk about these ones again. Let's do these things. Different thickness of materials, right? You have one next to another. So when you create a layer and you frame for this, you know the layer, you know the position on the screen is right and the position on your laser is right. Same with the other one. Layer A, layer B. 2 different layers. C00 and C01 if you will. So once you have this, right, you can select an offset in millimeters. 0.5, 0.2, 1, you name it. So when it goes from layer 1 to layer 2, automatically will adjust the height that you need to get the perfect focus. You just need to make sure which one is the difference. So for example, this one is measure this. And that way you know how much it is, measure it. So let's grab our caliper. So I'm gonna set my caliper in millimeters. And this one say is 8.9. But this one says is 10. So it's almost nothing for the eye. You can see it. But when you do these changes on the engraving, is how much blur or fuzziness is going to come on your final product. So you want to make sure that you get the focus right. So you work per layer. You can set here, remember, you can set a little bit of an offset on millimeters. So you know that your main focus is going to be X, right? Let's say you focus on the first piece, and then you create a secondary layer, and the secondary layer is 2 millimeters up. It's a little bit taller, so you will say 2 millimeters. So when it goes to the second layer that has this value, it will raise the 2 millimeters to get right in the focus. Okay, so that is a huge help. If you have a whole different scenario, this is a huge help. Also, this is awesome when you work on deep engraving. If you're doing a deep engraving and you do the first layer, in the second layer you can set a different offset to go in the middle of the wood, a little lower or higher, depending what you try to achieve. That can be done again automatically. In that way, you have nothing to worry about your focus. So that's point number one. The point number two that I want to mention is steps down. This is super cool. I did engrave down really deep, like really deep engravings. And one of the things that you can do here, for example, is you are going to cut. The typical problem is I'm trying to cut my 1/4-inch birch plywood and it's not going through. So let's imagine again you are 3 millimeters. So you can tell this you have 3 millimeters clearance under your laser to move down before you start, hitting things. So let's say that you go down half of a millimeter in each pass, and you are doing 3 passes. So you overall are going down 1.5 millimeters, which will set you in the middle of the thickness of your wood. And that will ensure that you're cutting because your focal and your critical focal point is always spot on where the meat needs to be cut. It's right in the money. Okay, so these two options are amazing. These two options are super useful. They are amazing, and it will give you a super nice cut and a super nice engraving. And those are 3 of the main things that you can do with the autofocus without counting the amount of time that you're already saving. That's the autofocus for you guys. I hope all this was something that you consider, useful as an information. I hope you guys set up your autofocus with a little bit more efficiency now. And for most, I hope, that everyone understand that the autofocus is not it's not an enemy of anyone to, it's going to destroy my machine, it's impossible to set up. You just gotta be patient. You have to try. As you see, changing the little side lever to see where is the focal point on your machine is important. Also, it's well known that these little guys are not always perfect. Sometimes when they touching the material, you're not in the perfect focus. So you have to test your focus. You have to put it down and try it here. Maybe it's a little bit lower, so this is not going to be all the way in. So will depends what is your optimal focal point. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoy this quick video tutorial in hanging out. If you have questions, put it in your comments below. Please do not forget to subscribe on the channel so you can get, I believe it's down here, subscribe, so you can get the alerts when we do new videos, and you are part of the giveaway by the end of the month. We're going to do a giveaway at the end of the month with all the people that we have subscribed on the channel. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for coming and tuning and for more hanging out. I really appreciate you guys. really appreciate the support. So don't forget, put your comments below and subscribe. Thank you, Mark. And you still have to get your autofocus. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you. One of these days, I'm just gonna go with here's my Twitch channel so you can sit down and watch me play. No work. I want to give you guys a quick. This is an interesting fact of AlivePixel. This guy, we call it Boris. It's Boris the Red. Okay, it's been this is a pixel, and AlivePixel has been part of my life for the last almost 18 years. So it's been just keep growing and keep changing with everyone, and everything is just because you guys are part of the support. I really appreciate you guys. Please always safety first. If you are not sure of your glasses and you want to spend a little bit extra money on glasses, go for it. I will highly recommend these glasses. I believe it's a OD plus 6, and there are a couple other stuff that you can read on that. I will look for this and put it on my material page that I recommend, so you can get it on Amazon and stuff. But they're really well rated, and for me, it's really important because I work on a computer, so this doesn't change too much the color of my computer. I still don't look at the laser when it's going, but it filters all this extra light that it will be otherwise harmful. So have a great now, everyone, and remember, let's fire that laser. Bye.